What is your Tinder horror story? So I met this girl on Tinder, and went for a lunch date. We had a pretty good connection, so we decided to have dinner as well. After having a few drinks, one thing led to another, and ended up back at my place. We hooked up, and went to sleep. Middle of the night I wake up. She's intensely staring at me, while she's crouched behind the bed. I asked her if everything is alright, she said yes, and got back into bed. I thought, little creepy, but probably nothing to worry about. She lays down to cuddle with me, and she's wet. At the time, I was like, damn, I must just be a stallion. Fast forward to the morning, she's gone, and there's a wet puddle beside the bed. She peed on my floor. I still don't understand it. I had a bathroom, but maybe she just got lost, and couldn't hold it? I did not hear from her again. Edit. Just want to be clear, we were both tipsy, and not sloppy drunk. This guy asked me if I would be interested in dating his dad. Pretty sure that guy was a catfish of said dad pretending to be guy. Talked to him for 2 weeks, before we went out, and no red flags, so we ended up going out to dinner. I said I hadn't been out in a while, because I was trying to save money for a washer and dryer. He told me, instead of saving for that, I should save for a boob job. I didn't even know how to reply, so he followed up with, no, it's not a bad thing, my sister and mom both had small tits, and got boob jobs, and they look amazing. This is all before the waitress even brought our drinks. I just got up, and left. Maybe he should just go sleep with his mother and sister then. Met up with a Tinder girl at Dave & Buster's. She brought me there, for a fucking pyramid scheme sign-up presentation. Guess I respect the hustle. Ugh, happened to me in college, but this was in the early 90s, so no Tinder obviously. Met this attractive girl on campus, we had coffee, then a lunch, nothing ever physical, but she seemed into me. One day she calls me, asks me to come by her office. I'm thinking weird, but okay. I go, she meets me, and she brings me in this room, and there's about 10 other guys around my age, all sitting around this conference table. We're all looking at each other, with these WTF expressions on our face. Then the girl comes back in with her boss, and the sales pitch started. First date, she wanted me to get into a bar fight with the perfectly friendly guy, who'd bought us a round of shots that night. Why? Because she found out he was a Scorpio. Astrology chicks are crazy. Fresh off a breakup on campus, match with this really good-looking girl, who is talking pure filth. Obviously I'm just an idiot with a hurt heart, so I don't question much, head over to her place a few days later. She insisted I come over on a certain date x o'clock. Usually I would have been sketched out, but it was the middle of the day on AB1G10 campus. What exactly could go that south? Half hour in, her husband came home. I was being used in revenge plot. No more Tinder. We lived about 25 minutes from each other, so agreed to meet at the beach pier about halfway between. Before meeting, we had been texting, and he seemed totally normal. I was already at the pier when he texted me saying he can't meet me there because his license is revoked and it's too far for him to walk. I should have just left then, but I agreed to meet him at a pizza place closer to him. I get there, and I'm standing outside when I see him, and quickly realize the pics from his profile were at least 3-5 years old. Homeboy looks like the dollar store version of himself. Greasy, looks like he hasn't showered in days, hair undone, holes in his shirt. I awkwardly give him a side hug, and suggest we get a seat, and he says, oh, no, we're not getting pizza. Let's go to the park. I awkwardly say okay, and as he talks, I realize his gums and tongue ring are stained black from smoking. By this point, I am completely turned off, and am just keeping up with formalities. So we get to the park and find a bench to talk, and before I can sit down, homie pulls me onto his lap, squeezing me and saying, God, Bobby girl, you are so fucking cute. I awkwardly scooch away, and try to get a conversation going. He pulls out his phone, and starts texting for a few minutes, not really listening to me, before interrupting with, Have you smoked? My friend is a plug, we could go back to my place for a bowl. I decline. Aw, come on, Bobby girl, my place is just right there. We could have some fun, too. I declined again. Next thing you know, he pulls me close by the face, and whispers, "You're so innocent," before broad-tongued licking my face, from chin to ear. Shell-shocked, I just sit there for a moment processing, what the fuck just happened, as he keeps talking about weed, before I decide to fake an urgent phone call and leave. Met a guy, decent conversation, smart, funny, mutual nerdy hobbies. We decide to meet up at the local gamer bar, and play some games, while having our first date. Get in, sit down, dude has no teeth. Says a heck dentist told him, they all had to be removed, couldn't get dentures due to budget, needed to wait for bone shards go fall out of his gums, etc. Proceeded to spit all over our food while talking, which granted, I knew he couldn't help, but if he can hide something this big from someone, what else could he be hiding? Plus I couldn't stomach the thought of making out with someone with no teeth. Me and a girl agreed to a hookup. This was a few years ago. We did the traditional swap nudes beforehand, to make sure we both liked what we saw, and she shows up to my place 5 months pregnant. I asked how TF she hide that stomach, and she said, "Hey, you only asked to see my tits and ass. You never asked for a full body. Touché, but fuck you." Can't get her pregnant. Not Tinder, but Match.com, and right in its infancy too long time ago, when it was just weirdos doing online dating. I matched and met up with a girl. She was way hotter than me, like crazy hot, way out of my league. The date was going super well, and we'd even made out a bit. Couldn't believe my luck. We decided that as it was going so well we'd keep it going and headed to a bar. We were getting cozy in a corner, when a group of African lads came into the bar. I live in a very homogeneous white country to the point that would even be noteworthy, especially at that time. She got up off where we were sitting, and began shouting abuse at the lads, who came in saying they didn't belong here, and dropping the N-word several times. I felt like that moment in a horror movie, where the camera zooms in on your face, and the background zooms out. I just got up and walked out. She tried to call me the next day to set up another date, I just ignored her. Clearly fucking nuts. Too good to be true in the truest sense. Thanks a lot for watching. In the comments below this video, write about your worst Tinder date ever. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.